Hello everyone, and today we are going to be discussing the top locations mentioned in Justin Posey's book, Beyond the Map's Edge. Today we are ditching the speculation and diving straight into the source, Justin Posey's book. Alright, let's get started. We're going to start off with the stories from Arizona, specifically Tucson. The Sonoran Desert is where his adventure-seeking spirit was forged. He splits his childhood between two houses after his parents split up, and both sound like catalysts for his later obsession. Imagine growing up at the end of a dirt road right next to the Saguaro National Park. This was Justin's reality at his mom's place, and it wasn't just any house. His mom, a former Montana rodeo champ, basically turned the background into Noah's Ark after the divorce. We're talking horses, mules, donkeys, chickens, pigs, snakes, dogs, cats, rats, ferrets, and even a chinchilla. This place sounds like chaos, but it was also a training ground. Justin talks about playing hide and seek using a horse named Megan as a moving hiding spot, dangling off her side. That takes some serious nerve, right? Think about the skill involved, observing, timing, using the environment. Sounds a bit like the treasure hunt. He also mentions the great gift hunt, where he and his brother Brandon would try to find hidden Christmas and birthday presents. Justin even picked a lock on a horse trailer one. This constant seeking, the thrill of discovery, it's all baked into his childhood thanks to his environment. His mom even orchestrated a treasure hunt for one of his birthdays, ending with a blue cardboard chest. He doesn't remember what was inside, but he remembers the feeling, the adrenaline, the fear of failure, and the excitement. The feeling seems to be what is driving him. Going on to his dad's house. His dad sounds like a character, a railroad engineer who could apparently rebuild a V8 engine and cook gourmet French food on the same day. More importantly, Dad fueled Justin's imagination. He gave him old adventure magazines like True West and Old Frontier plus Hardy Boys books. Justin pored over these, fascinated by stories of lost treasure that were still out there. His dad also introduced him to the Oak Island mystery, spinning tales of pirate gold and booby traps. Even though Oak Island is way out in Nova Scotia, the idea of it, the possibility, stuck with Justin. Dad's house also had an incredible conservatory, a tropical paradise built onto the patio in the middle of the desert. Visitors couldn't believe the plants were real. This image of creating something unexpected, something almost out of place but thriving, feels significant. Could the treasure be hidden in a place that feels similarly surprising? And we can't forget the birds. Dad fed the birds every morning, a ritual Justin continued. He'd quote Thoreau while pointing out cardinals. This connection to nature, observation, and even a bit of philosophy seems deeply ingrained. Next, moving on to the New Mexico connection. This state looms large in Justin's story, mostly because of his paternal grandparents in Alamogordo and the nearby Sacramento Mountains. Frequent road trips from Tucson to Alamogordo were a staple. Justin describes these nighttime drives curled up on floorboards of his dad's massive dually truck, calculating speed based on mile markers because his dad didn't trust the speedometer. It's another example of observation and problem solving being part of his upbringing. Alamogordo itself is the setting for one of the most vivid stories, the rattlesnake incident. Grandpa Posey sends young Justin down the incredibly long gravel driveway to get to the mail. Justin hears rattling, runs back terrified. Grandpa tells him his mind is playing tricks and sends him back. This happens twice, and the third time Justin forced himself down the driveway only to find two rattlesnakes mating right at his feet. He freezes. Grandpa eventually comes out, dispatches the snakes with a shovel, and gives Justin the rattles in a jar. A jar he still has. This story is intense. It speaks volumes about facing fear, about the harsh realities of the desert, and about the tough, perhaps unspoken, Posey family nature. It's a powerful memory tied to a specific mundane location, that driveway. Next, we're going to move on to the Sacramento Mountains. The family history is rooted in the Sacramento Mountains near Alamogordo, where the Posey clan settled after fleeing a drought in Texas. Dad would drive them up to the Cloudcroft, pointing out landmarks and declaring it Posey land. There's a real sense of belonging and heritage tied to this mountain range. The lodge at Cloudfront is a key spot built in 1899. It's historic, maybe even haunted. Dad was obsessed with the gift shop, convinced they should sell Posey memorabilia. Justin shares a rather memorable incident involving projectile vomit near the same gift shop after reacting badly to a mountain air scented candle. Not all memories are glamorous, but strong emotions tie us to places. Could a place tied to the family history we've discussed be significant? There's even a Posey cottage at the local museum, reinforcing this deep connection to the area. Next, moving on to Bonito Lake. Bonito Lake was their fishing retreat. Dad becomes a fishing guru here, analyzing trout psychology and naming the fish. Justin learns about thinking like the creature you are pursuing, about observing the environment. Dad tells tall tales about legendary trout caught by ancestors, often glancing at Grandpa Posey. Maybe seeking approval, it's a place of bonding, storytelling, and learning patience. All skills useful in a treasure hunt. The image of Dad finally catching a big fish, declaring it had Posey training, feels like a metaphor for the whole family's approach to challenges. And next we have Victoria Peak. This is huge. Around age 12, during one of these Alamogordo visits, Justin overhears the adults talking about the legendary lost treasure of Victoria Peak. His family has a direct connection. His great-uncle Alton apparently helped Doc Noss, the treasure's discoverer, hide some of the gold bars and knew secrets behind it. Grandpa Posey even hints Alton shared things with him before he passed. This story ignites Justin's lifelong obsession. He spends years researching it, dreaming of finding it. He describes multiple failed attempts as a teenager to seek out the White Sands Missile Range, where the peak is located. Trying to tunnel under the fence, getting caught trying to ditch a public tour, even convincing his dad to drive him to a neighboring ranch under the guise of a school project. Victoria Peak represents the ultimate childhood dream, the spark of his treasure hunting passion, and a deep family connection to a real, legendary mystery. It's located in southern New Mexico, a landscape deeply tied to his formative years. Next, we have the Northern Rockies. This is when we get into the Montana and Wyoming area. And Grandpa Fitzwater, his mom's dad, was a retired fish and game warden based near Dillon, Montana. Justin describes him as rugged, a living link to the wild. This grandfather mailed them a real Christmas tree from the Rockies every year. He'd drive his trailer down to Tucson each winter, and Justin shares a hilarious story about Grandpa chasing a runaway trailer wheel into the Snake River, getting knocked out, floating downstream on the wheel, and being rescued by fishermen, only to mount the wheel back on and continue his trip to Tucson, refusing medical attention. That tells you everything you need to know about that man. Grandpa Fitzwater patrolled the Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest area, an area of big interest so far in this treasure hunt. This region is steeped in history. Native American tribes, Lewis and Clark, and the infamous Sheriff Henry Plummer and his outlaw gang who robbed gold shipments near the gold rush town of Bannack. Justin explores Bannack and the ghost town of Coolidge as a kid, searching for treasure. Crystal Park was another haunt where they dig for quartz crystals after rainstorms, and crucially Black-tailed Deer Creek near Grandpa's house is where Justin learned patience through fishing. He emphasizes the deep connection formed hiking and fishing the creeks, lakes, and rivers of Montana and Wyoming, specifically mentioning the Big Hole and Jefferson rivers. These aren't just fishing spots, they are places tied to legacy and learning and the wild spirit inherited from his grandfather. Next, we have Grasshopper Valley. Near Polaris, Montana, in Grasshopper Valley, Justin visits family friends on a ranch. He fishes Grasshopper Creek, known for huge brown trout during hopper season. One day, while targeting a massive fish near a log jam, he hears a commotion and braces for a bear. Instead, an incredibly angry badger chases him, tears through his fly rod, and bites him on the butt as he dives into the creek. It's a wild memorable and painful encounter tied to a specific fishing spot. Then we have Pagan Pass at Glacier National Park. Justin mentions hiking Pagan Pass while dealing with severe hip pain that eventually required surgery. This location is tied to a significant physical struggle and the realization of his body's limitations, which is a reoccurring theme as he contrasts his intense tech career with the physical demands of the wilderness. Then we have Yellowstone National Park. Yellowstone becomes central during Justin's decade-long hunt for Forrest Fenn's treasure. He mentions several specific spots he searched extensively based on Fenn's poem. Boiling River, Gardenier Devil's Slide, Hebgen Lake, mentioned as early search areas up north, Firehole, Gibbon and Madison Rivers, Iron Springs, 9 Mile Hole, and other Yellowstone spots. Yellowstone, particularly the western side along the Madison, is clearly ground zero for his Fenn obsession and holds powerful memories, especially those connected to his brother. Then we have Blackfoot River and the Grizzly Gauntlet. Another Montana River story involves floating the Blackfoot River near Ovando with his stepfather Gary. The fishing was bad due to a storm, so they moved to the North Fork, known grizzly territory, while fishing near a log jam. Gary spots a grizzly behind Justin. They back away and warn other anglers and encounter another grizzly upstream. Back near the truck, Tucker alerts them to a third massive grizzly just feet away. They watch in terror as it charges other fishermen down the river before stopping. This location is tied to an incredible, intense, multi-bear encounter, which we know appears in the poem. Then we have Washington State. While not the wilderness of his youth or the focus of the treasure hunt itself, Washington State becomes Justin's home base during his tech career at Microsoft and beyond. Living near Seattle first in Bellevue and later near Novelty Hill, Justin establishes a rigorous routine with his dog Tucker. They embark on daily 6-mile treks through the local woods. These trails become their sanctuary, a place where Justin to decompress, ponder the Fenn poem, and bond with Tucker. It's on one of these trails near home where the hit and run incident occurs on Thanksgiving Eve, where Tucker stays by his side after he's knocked unconscious. These woods represent consistency, escape from the tech world, and the deep bond with his dog Tucker. The common thread, places of connection and challenge. Looking at all these places, what stands out? His family. So many locations are deeply tied to family history and experiences. Grandparents, parents, brothers, Alamogordo, Cloudcroft, Dillon, the specific rivers fished with family, from rattlesnakes and badgers to treasure puzzles and physical pain, Pagan Pass, the hip injury. These places often involve overcoming obstacles, facing fears, or pushing limits. Fishing spots, Dad's Garden, Grandpa Fitzwater's Wilderness. These places are where Justin learned patience, observation skills, and a connection to the natural world. And places like 9 Mile Hole and the Redington Mountains became sacred ground, holding memories of his brother Brandon. These locations carry immense emotional weight. And then we have the hunt in Yellowstone and Victoria Peak. Justin Posey's life has unfolded across these diverse landscapes of the American West. His book paints a picture of someone deeply connected to these places, not just as a setting, but as characters that shaped his identity, fueled his obsessions, and hold the keys to his profound memories. Could one of these deeply personal locations, a place whispering of family lore, challenge, or quiet contemplation, be where his own treasure now waits? Does knowing any of these places change at all how you interpret the poem? Please let me know in the comments below. Let me know your best theories and what you guys want to see next. Thanks everybody for watching.